In football, value isn't just about making flashy plays. It's about consistency, durability, showing up. Week after week, season after season. That's Toyota, the brand built for the long game. Award-winning quality, legendary reliability, and a lineup of vehicles that hold their value against the toughest competition. Every play, every drive. It's no wonder Toyota was named the best resale value brand for 2025 according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com for the 5th year in a row. And why Toyota's proud to be the official automotive partner of the NFL. Because like every great team, Toyotas are built to go the distance. For great deals and reliable vehicles you can count on, visit buyatoyota.com. That's buyatoyota.com. Vehicles projected resale value is specific to the 2025 model year. For more information, visit Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Can you believe the finale of Squid Game: The Challenge on Netflix is almost here? If you haven't caught up yet, now's your chance. This season has been incredible, and everyone is on the edge of their seats to find out which player will be taking home the $4.56 million prize. Catch up on the latest episodes, now playing only on Netflix.
Welcome to On Fire, the only official Survivor podcast. I'm Jeff Probst, the host and showrunner of Survivor. Each week, I'm joined by Jay Wolf. He is a Survivor fan, certified, and the executive producer of this podcast. Hello, Jay.
What's up, guys?
We're also joined by former Survivor player, 3-time Survivor great, Jeremy Collins. What up, Jeremy?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
So each week, what we do is we take the biggest moments of the most recent episode of Survivor, and we bring you insights from these 3 different points of view. You've got the producer, you got the fan, and you got the player. Let's get into the big moments. Episode 8, Survivor 49. Jay, where you want to start?
I want to talk about the power shift that happened during this episode, starting with Savannah.
I don't think Sage really knows how good she has it out here. Everybody wants to work with Sage or include her in the vote. Everybody's constantly asking her to go down to the beach. And it's really hurtful that she's painting me out to be this person who is so conniving and has all this power and is this strategic mastermind. It feels almost like she's painting herself as a victim here. But like, you can't paint yourself as a victim if you're the one who actually has that knife and is doing all the stabbing. It doesn't work like that. Right now, like, I am feeling left out, and I'm feeling like no one wants to have anything to do with me. And I'm feeling like the pariah of this group, and like I'm just like a loser. And like it brings up a lot of really tough emotions for me because I've felt like this before.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
On top 1 second, and you feel like you're on top of the game, and you have all this energy, and then the next second you're on the bottom, and you're like, oh my God, how did I get here? And how do I get out of this? And it's an emotional roller coaster, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's my question, Jeremy. How often, in your opinion, does this game shift and you're at a high point and then you're at a low point? And how long do you have to wait? Because if you're Savannah right now, you feel like you've lost all your cards. When do you start to get these cards back?
So I think the game shifts constantly, but I think there's degrees to this, the shifting. You know, I think there's small shifts within an alliance. You can move up and down the alliance ladder, conversation to conversation. But the bigger shifts happen when there's a tribe swap or there's a blind side, and now the whole game shakes up, and at one point you're on top and you feel so much energy and you feel good and you're like, I got this game. And then the next day, you're like, what? How did I get here? I'm on the bottom. And how do I get out of this? And I think Rizzo had a great attitude towards it. He said, don't count your boy out yet. And I think that's how you have to go with it. Like, once you're on the bottom, hey, you're not out of the game. You're still in. So keep your head up, keep grinding. And, I'm still in this. Let's go.
That interview with Savannah is one of the many reasons she's on the show, because those are real low moments and clearly very personal. And not only is she able to tell the story, which is key, she's willing to be vulnerable and say, I've had times in my professional life where I felt on the outside. That's a very vulnerable thing. I'm amazed when I'll meet somebody and they'll say, and then Savannah, oh, I'm so sad. And I think, wow, where is the empathy for the human condition? This is a real person who's struggling out there. And maybe, Jay and Jeremy, it's just simply because until you're out there you just don't understand how vulnerable somebody can get.
Well, that's the next thing I wanted to talk about, Jeff. Savannah went on to reveal this traumatic work situation that she faced. She was iced out by her colleagues. Jeff, I'm curious, how often do you learn these things in real time with us versus knowing about these critical traumas from your casting process?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. As we've discussed, our casting process goes very deep, and as a result, it can get very personal. And sometimes family situations or trauma from middle school or work situations like this that might be inspiring or challenging will come up. But I just want to be clear that our interest in those stories is only in helping us understand who you are and how you might react in certain situations. We never expect a player to share anything they aren't comfortable sharing. It is always up to the player, and it varies player to player as to how they want to handle it. And then other times, like you're suggesting, something will get triggered in a player that never came up in all of our time with them during casting, and it surprises us as much as it surprises the player. In fact, there's a moment still to come this season where that happens, and it does come out in real time, and we do discuss it, and it's ultimately incredibly powerful and very healing for the player. But the key to all of this for fans and future players is trusting that we don't put people on the show simply because they have a great story and we hope they will share it. Your story is yours to share or not share.
Yeah.
All right, I want to move on to the immunity challenge, which is a classic. Hold yourself up with these tiny little footholds. But as you mentioned, Jeff, there is a twist.
There is a twist to today's challenge.
Classic. Of course.
We're going to randomly divide into 2 groups of 5. You will compete against each other as groups. Here's how it works. The winning group, everybody earns immunity. Everybody's safe. That group will not go to tribal council.
That's crazy. Jeff coming out with the punches.
Losing 5, nobody's safe. Nobody has immunity. That group will go to tribal council.
Wow.
We just talked about the power rankings on the beach and being on top and moving on bottom. How fast can this game change? The answer is, I don't know, 25 minutes, maybe 30? I mean, in this process, we watched Savannah go from crying, I'm on the bottom, that emotion that we just talked about, to the Savannah we know and love, which is I'm on the top and I'm gunning for my next target.
Yeah.
So let me talk first about this twist. Jeff, how do you go about finding the flow for how the twists shape the individual portion of the game?
Well, you hit it. It's finding a flow. And the key to a survivor flow is that that flow is driven by intention. Form follows function. So months before we shoot, we lay out our season, and at every step of the way, we're asking ourselves one question. What do we want to happen in the game right now? Like take the marooning, for example. We always ask that question. What do we want to happen seconds into the game? So far in the new era, we've decided we want the tribes to face an initial test. And that test will result in one tribe having an early advantage and the other tribe suffering an early setback. We also know that this provides a burst of energy into the premiere. We want that. It also reveals character instantly by thrusting these strangers into a pressure situation where they must perform in a role that will either allow them to shine or result in them falling in some way. That reveals character. We want that. And then we go to our next beat and we ask ourselves the same question. We do this through the entire season, and the function shifts depending on what phase of the game we're in. And I will say, as Survivor continues into 50 and beyond, uncertainty will continue to be the player's biggest obstacle and potentially their biggest opportunity. It's a simple question of point of view. Is uncertainty your adversary or your ally?
I just want to go quickly back to what I was mentioning before, which is Savannah. We just saw Savannah crying on the beach about how upset she was, re-experiencing this past trauma. And then she was able to channel that, I think, in this immunity challenge and win not only immunity for the 5 people she was with, but for herself, and change the game again. So I guess I'm just curious from both of you guys, what can you learn from the movement of Savannah going from I'm experiencing real pain
Right.
to I'm experiencing real pain, but I'm going to win and I'm going to change
Yeah.
the game because of it.
Jeremy, what's your take?
So as a player, when you're on the bottom, you feel the pressure and you don't want to go home. So the next challenge, you're like, I'm going to do whatever I can to win this challenge. Jeff, you say it all the time, dig deep. You really do dig deep because you're like, I don't want to go home. I have to win this. And something in you just pushes yourself further than you think you can go.
I think it's a great question because it's philosophical. And we try to talk about the how and the why on this podcast. I think the reason it's so interesting is that that's the adventure. There it is. You are thrusting yourself into the unknown. You're going to take on obstacles, threshold guardians. You're going to have to find your way around obstacles you could never predict by design. And it's going to make you go as high as you've ever felt. And then it's going to crush you like a big foot right on your throat. And the question is, what are you going to do with it? Like you just said, Jay, take that energy of that past trauma of work and funnel that energy instead of fear and sorrow into power.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kick ass right now. And now I'm back and now I'm in control again. And I know this sounds like there should be a choir behind me, but that is how I see Survivor. That's why I say, is uncertainty your adversary? Then you are in trouble in life as well, by the way.
Yes, yes.
But if uncertainty provides opportunity, wow, now it's a whole new world of possibility.
Jeremy, do you have any secrets as to how to win outside of turning trauma into fuel? Do you have any secrets as to how to win a painful, awful endurance challenge?
Okay, Jay. So my name is Jeremy Collins. It's nice to meet you. I don't know if you've seen any of my seasons, but I've won 3 immunity challenges. One of them was a memory challenge. So there was no endurance in that. I won some motion. There's no real, endurance in that. But I did win I was holding onto a pole, and there is endurance in that. So if you guys have seen my gnarly feet, like my toes did some gymnastics to get into the groove. So that wasn't really an endurance challenge for me. But like Jeff said, you have to dig deep and find that inner, cue the music. Somebody cue the music in the background. that inner lion and just go for it. You know what I mean? That's what you're here for. You're here to make big plays and just do it.
Jeremy, I think that's a really fun idea. You're right. You're essentially cueing the music in your head and the close-up is on you. And we're going to tilt down to your feet and your toes better be grabbing into the edge of that wood. Yes, because you are the star of this movie. And the question is, are you going to win or are you going to lose? But it is your story.
Yeah.
Jeff, have you ever done any of these endurance challenges?
Yeah, it's funny. In the early days, we didn't have a dream team. So yes, all of us practiced the challenges.
Wow.
But then now, since we've had a dream team, we've really learned one thing, and that is whoever is practicing these challenges, they need stakes.
Right.
Because we want them to push themselves because it's not comfortable. So if I got up there, I'd be up there for about 1 second. And I'd go, why am I doing this? I don't have to. So in fact, what we do, we've talked about this, I think, in early seasons of the podcast. Kurt Hoffer will often incentivize the dream team. You can come into work an hour late tomorrow. That's huge. It doesn't sound like much. That sounds like being late to somebody else. Or a massage. Or a case of beer. And that motivates people. And in addition, our dream team, they're hired because they have that drive. If you're going to apply to be on the dream team, you got to have the same drive in your way that a player does. Because the dream team is an ass-kicking job, but it is also an ass-kicking opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. Savannah won immunity, but she also won a crucial new advantage. We'll talk about the how and the why we came up with that final element of the twist when we come back.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah?
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. It's about getting the right person with the right background who can move your business forward. And to find candidates who match what you're looking for, trust Indeed sponsored jobs. Stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. Give your job the best chance to be seen with Indeed sponsored jobs. They help you stand out and hire quality candidates who can drive the results you need. Sponsored jobs boost your post for quality candidates, so you can reach the exact people you want faster. Join the 1.6 million companies that sponsor their jobs with Indeed. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results now with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/listen. Just go to Indeed.com/listen right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/listen. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed.
Welcome back to On Fire, the only official Survivor podcast. All right, Jay, where are we going?
I want to stay on these power shift moments, and I want to talk about Sophie, who experienced the same thing. She was riding high on the top, and then all of a sudden now she is on the bottom.
This is a five that hasn't all ever been together as a fivesome before, and we're missing the other half of our tribe. Right now, my world has shrunk. I have gone from a beach of 10, I'm just on a beach of 5. If you don't make it out of the beach of 5, it doesn't matter what plans you had for those other 5 folks up there. So right now, this is all I'm looking at.
Yep.
It does not matter if you don't make it out of that beach of 5. I agree. Jeremy.
Yeah.
How do you keep a relationship with people outside of your alliance? And what does that really look like?
It's not fun, really. It's a lot of running around. On the beach, you're running around a lot and trying to get into conversations with everybody. You want to try to build some type of rapport. I think you have to be like a people person. You know who's really good at that? Michelle Fitz. Like, Michelle would go and have conversations with people. And I'm like, Michelle, I don't even like them. How are you doing this? And she's like, I don't even know how I'm doing it. And she would just do it. And she's a people person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you just have to be a people person, move around on the beach, try to jump in all conversations. And that's how you kind of build better relationships with these people.
All right, let's go to the cherry on top of this episode with the advantage that Savannah received.
Your advantage gives you the power at tonight's tribal council in the form of a vote. You will now join the losing tribe at their camp, where you may participate in as many conversations as you want. Oh my gosh. So tonight I'm going over to the other group that's going to tribal council, and I'm gonna join them with my immunity necklace. And then I'll actually have the opportunity to cast a vote. Then when it's time to vote, you will enter the voting confessional with an important decision. Use this vote tonight to ensure the result you want, or secretly save this vote for use at a future tribal council.
I like it. Hearing it there, I still like it.
It's big. I mean, first question, Jeff, was it weird when you didn't give the immunity necklace at the challenge?
No, it wasn't weird. I know it's not traditional, but form follows function. So that was part of it.
Well, that very fun and very unexpected change resulted in Savannah getting on a boat with the rest of her group, totally unclear about what was going on.
Yeah.
She's just waving and riding away. Talk to us about this new advantage and how you built it, Jeff.
Well, this goes back to what we talked about earlier when we're laying out the season. We've had this idea of a player just leaving, without anybody knowing what's going on. But as I've shared before, we're really cognizant of measuring what we put into the game and when. So that's the big picture why. We do have ideas even now in our hopper, but we don't think it's time yet. We want to wait for the right time. So when we were laying out season 49, it felt like, I think this might be the right time to put it in the game, and everyone agreed. And the why behind this specific advantage is really just thin slicing the same questions. How do you create tiny new wrinkles that offer a player or players an opportunity in the game? And what you're looking for is the dilemma. What is it that they're going to do? The decision Savannah makes with this advantage will be based on many factors. All of them will reveal character about Savannah. Does the extra vote offer her a chance to take out a rival? And the risk that comes with that is that while solidifying her own alliance, she's risking creating a new enemy. Is that worth it? Might be. Or does she feel her position in the game is good for the moment? I'll keep this extra vote, save it for later use. That reveals character about her as well. As producers, we don't care. We don't have any stake at all in what she does with it. All we know is that the game will change as a result.
I mean, Jeremy, the other part of this was that group of 5 that didn't get immunity that's going to tribal tonight spent all day strategizing. What is this vote going to be? And all of a sudden, a new person shows up to the beach. How does that throw everything for a loop?
It's absolutely awful. It is so bad. It is so bad. So a lot of people don't know when we're out there, the plans change constantly.
Right.
So until it's set in stone, it changes 5, 6, 7 times. And 6, 7.
You said it, not me.
So when we have a plan and then Jeff changes it and says, oh, wait a second. I feel my brain dripping out of my ear right now because I can't even keep up with this. And now I have to go back and change up our plan again, which will change again another 5 or 6 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you got to make sure that you have your plan. And then when you go to tribal, it's going to change again because you might have a live tribal. So it's madness. It's awful. This is a terrible thing as a game player.
All right, speaking of live tribals, let's take one more break. And when we come back, Jeremy's right. First live tribal of the season. We'll be right back.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Odyssey.
Want to give a gift that actually matters this season? Start with skincare that's clean, effective, and actually works. Primally Pure makes gifting simple. From cult favorite staples to limited edition holiday scents, all toxin-free, intentionally crafted, and ready to wrap. Perfect for gifting or treating yourself. Skip the synthetic fragrances and holiday gimmicks. Cozy vanilla mint body care, cranberry red lip balm. Primally Pure captures all the festive nostalgia naturally. Thousands of glowing reviews prove it. This is clean beauty that works inside and out. Skin, body, wellness. Their products help you create rituals that last well beyond the holidays. 'Tis the season for tradition and intention. Shop Primally Pure's best-selling essentials and new limited edition bundles to wrap up wellness for everyone on your list, including yourself.
Welcome back to On Fire. All right, Jay.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about some backstabbing.
Ooh.
Sophie is going to put a vote on you so that it goes to a tie.
Gotcha. That shook me to my core. That made me realize Sophie's here to play. I saw my name written down one time. I don't want to see it written down again.
After the tie,
Yeah.
it would be us 4 having to choose between you or
Gotcha.
her.
Yeah.
I don't want to send you home.
I appreciate that.
I don't want to send her home either.
Yeah.
And this is literally me telling you this could blow up everything.
MC, you don't even know how right you are that it could blow up everything. Jeremy, I want to talk about timing. MC comes to Juwan with this information in what I perceive to be rather early in the day. And so how important is timing when you're going to tell somebody something that's going to change the vote?
Yeah, it's super important. I hate to give this guy credit. I really do. He's a buddy of mine, but I hate to give him credit. But Tony was so good at this because Tony would kind of slow play it. Tony's game is hectic and crazy, chaos all the time. But he would slow play it, and then he would say, you know what? It's about that time because we should be leaving for tribal soon. So it's time to start making some moves. And then he would go crazy. And that's when all the plans change and stuff. But now there's not enough time for it to change over and over again. He times it perfectly. He does a really good job at that. But don't tell him I told you.
I think that's the 5th Tony mentioned this season. I don't know,
I'm doing too much, man. I'm doing too much.
All right. What happens next is that Rizzo and Savannah somehow got the votes off of Rizzo, and they made this a duel between MC and Sophie. And Jeremy, I'm just curious, How does this Jedi mind trick work? And how do you get people to go against their original instincts?
It's so wild. When I was a kid, there was 2 golden retrievers that were best friends, and the parents would walk these dogs every day, and we would see them and they loved each other. And then there was a German Shepherd that lived up the street that got loose, and the German Shepherd came down the street and got into the fight with the dogs, these 2 golden retrievers. And I'm sitting there watching this, and then the German Shepherd jumped out of the fight, and it was just the 2 golden retrievers fighting at each other.
Wow.
And people, they were trying to pull them apart, and I said, that's Survivor. You know what I mean? Like, people come right in and shake it up, and then Rizzo just backs up and let the golden retrievers fight. It's just, it happens all the time, man.
I mean, it was an unbelievable move. And what a metaphor, by the way. All right, we got our first live tribal of the season. MC stands up. She starts talking. Jeff, I'm curious your perspective. Is there kind of like a lid on live tribals where it's like as soon as the first one gets ripped off, all of a sudden the box is open and these are just going to start happening?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I've never played, but you've heard me say this 13 times this podcast. Form follows function. So if I'm a player and I'm worried I'm going home, then the form of my behavior at tribal is going to be driven by that. And suddenly to Jeremy's point, we're about to vote. This is the perfect time to try to cause some chaos and see if just maybe I can land it with somebody who's also feeling a little unsure.
Yes.
And we flip the vote. That's what inspires a live tribal. I know there are some players that might do it to be performative, but I think most people are doing it out of sheer desperation. And you know what? You should then. You should get up and say, wait a second, I need a moment. This is your life in the game. But I don't think that, we've got live tribals, let's have another one. Because sometimes a live tribal is not what you want because the vote is locked. Let's just write names down as fast as possible.
Yes. Can we just vote now, please?
Yeah.
Can we vote, Jeff, please? Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for MC, it did not pay off for her, and Rizzo ultimately escaped with his idol yet again, in his words, a Christmas miracle. Savannah banked her vote. MC joins the jury. Jeff, your thoughts on MC, who, let's remember, was an alternate, unaware that she was going to be in the cast of Survivor 49 until 12 hours before the show started.
Wow, man.
Yeah, my first notes when I first met her on FaceTime, super likable, capital letters. And then I wrote, I think she's more charming than she accepts. I also found it interesting that she had just discovered Survivor in Survivor 47, episode 3, and instantly applied. Then in person, she has this huge presence in terms of big positive energy. It knocks you over in a good way. And that's what I wrote. It just knocks you over. She's super likable, very confident physically, but she's also very humble. And then my last note was this might be a perfect time for her. It feels like she's in a transition. We were really happy to have her on the show. She was great.
That's interesting, Jeff. When you wrote, might be a good time for her, it feels like she's in the transition. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, you get to know people really well. Some stuff is spoken, some stuff is implied, and some is discovered. And that's the part I like about Survivor is I like the study of people. That's what's kept me here. And I just remember when talking to MC that I kept having this feeling, part of why she applied to be on Survivor is she's ready for something new. Something's churning inside her that's different. I don't know exactly what it is, and I don't even know if I'm right. I never asked her. But my instinct was something about her is transitioning into a next phase or something. And I was really happy to have her on the show. It was lucky for us, everything that ended up happening, because MC's just a delight to be around and a great game player.
Yeah, that was my winner pick, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right, let's get into some fan questions. As a reminder, if you have a question for Jeff, you can email us at survivorshoutout@cbs.com. I read your questions in the email box, and then sometimes I put them in this document that I read from, like this one from Carissa. This says, "Hey, On Fire team, what kind of material are parchments made out of? For the clues and advantages and immunity idle notes. I'm wondering about the durability for when it's pouring down rain from the Fijian skies or when players are out in the ocean and they have notes in their pocket."
Yeah, it's pretty thick paper that comes in sheets, big sheets, And then it's individually cut into the right size for whether it's a note or a vote. And then it's aged by our art department, which includes all kinds of very subtle treatments, including the work around the edges and the aging process that makes it look old and stained. So no two parchments have ever been the same. And in terms of durability, it is surprisingly durable. I can sometimes tell when, say, a vote is used and it's been an extra vote, and you can tell that it's been in a player's bag or shorts or shoved in their shoes for many days because it's just got all these little wrinkles, but it doesn't ever really tear.
Huh.
Yeah, I could vouch for that, Jeff. I've stuck parchment in my pants numerous times, and it's where the sun don't shine. And it holds up, man. It holds up, man.
I will say, Jay, every time somebody hands me an idol, I'm very aware that this has had its own journey for many days. And it's lived in many different places.
I've handed you one.
Oh, thanks.
Don't wash your hands after this one.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I would too. All right, next question comes from Ella. They were hey, Jeff, Jay, and Jamie. I love watching Survivor with my family. My mom, shout out Shannon. Got us all into the show during 48, and we've watched tons of past seasons.
Oh, nice.
2 questions surrounding the topic of casting. The first, how do people get out of work to be on Survivor? And how many people are told about a contestant going on Survivor? For instance, would a contestant tell their boss because they're going to be gone for so long? Is there a limit for how many people can know?
It's good questions.
So for me, like, I'm lucky enough for my job. I have some flexibility and I can move my schedule around a little bit. And my department was good enough to support me in this. So I was able to tell the chief and some of the guys that I work with. They're my immediate family, but that's the only people I really tell. I know a lot of people do quit their jobs, though. This is the chance of a lifetime, so they jump on it.
Yeah. And we keep a very tight lid on who knows who's going to be on Survivor. Like, very few people at CBS know. Very few people on our crew know. We use initials and internal code names, and we're changing it all the time. In terms of who the player can tell, there's not a hard, fast rule, but it's very specific. It's typically your primary person. Like, it could be your partner or it could be your parents. Occasionally, we've let people tell their boss, and they tell us, look, my boss won't say anything. They're a Survivor fan as well. It's basically, we're just trying to keep the integrity of the game in this sense. What we say to the players is, everything we're going to go through together now starts with trust. So during the finals for casting, when we do the in-person interviews, we usually gather at one of several different hotels. And so a person who has made it to this point might see another person that they suspect might be at the hotel for the same reason. And we're very clear with everybody that if you decide to try to play detective and figure out who somebody is, or contact them before the game, and we find out, you're off the show. You're never invited back. And as we all know, we have rules. That's why MC got on this season. But really, we don't want that to happen. So I'll just say to future players, Survivor is really fun. So if you're in the running or if you get put on the show, just play by the rules. And that includes who you tell that you're on the show in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeff, how often does that happen? Like, do you find people try to reach out to other people, and does that happen a lot?
Very rare. And I'm sure people have done it and gotten away with it. I'm sure it has to have happened. I'm just issuing this warning. If we find out, and sometimes the way we find out is the player you reached out to lets us know. So just remember, you are playing the game the minute you apply, and your best advice is to play by the rules, because what's so fun about Survivor is there are virtually no rules once you get in the game.
Yeah.
All right, our last question comes from Sky. They write, hi guys, longtime listener and watcher, first time emailer. My question is, who writes the job titles that appear during the interviews with the players? For example, former reporter underneath Savannah's name. My husband thinks the players choose. I think the producers do it. Which one of us is right?
I wish I could declare a winner, Sky, but in this situation, it's a tie because it's a combination of both. We start with the players. How do you want us to refer to who you are? And it has to be legitimate and it has to be true to who they are. But if it's clean and simple and there aren't any issues, then that's what we go with. And that's 70% of the time. But there are times when people have an unusual job or job title, or maybe they have multiple jobs, or maybe they're in between jobs, but they're a professional in a certain area. So in those cases, we talk about it and we come to an agreement. That's it. All right. And that's it for this week's episode of On Fire. If you enjoy the podcast, you know we'd love it if you'd take a moment to rate the show on Spotify or Apple Podcast, or you could leave us a review. Jeremy, do you have a review?
Yeah, I got a review. It's from the boy Kenzie. And the boy Kenzie says, as a student of the show, this podcast really clears up any questions you may have about the show or getting on the show, which he hopes to do one day. Thank you guys for taking the time to make this for the true fans.
We love doing it, and I love hearing that because that is why we started doing this, the how and the why about Survivor. All right, there's a brand new episode of Survivor every Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on CBS and Paramount Plus. And immediately following the episode, Jay, why are we still saying this? People know that listen to the podcast. They know. Is this something we have to say?
You know what? I think it's something that we should say. Just in case you don't know that immediately following the episode, you can listen to this episode
called On Fire! Follow and listen to On Fire on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
As a raider scavenging a derelict world, you settle into an underground settlement. But now you must return to the surface, where arc machines roam. If you're brave enough, who knows what you might find? Arc Raiders, a multiplayer extraction adventure video game. Buy now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Rated T for teen.
Now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Brandon was the full package. I felt like I met my guy.
Just stop talking. God.
But he's not even close to the person that I thought he was. When you do break up with Brandon, that is when the stalking begins. I just knew something horrific was about to happen. I saw the devil in his eyes. We're going to tell everyone what he did.
Don't date Brandon. Now streaming on Paramount Plus.